I am Z.Schultze, and I am here with
Connor Clark.
And this is Inside the Huddle. Our Week 10 matchups, the Panthers host the Falcons. Another rematch of that one from the earlier beginnings, you know.
Honestly, I feel like that could be a good game because the Falcons have been playing really well recently and almost beating the Chargers where they probably should have won that game. Also, earlier in the year where they played the Buccaneers and the crappy roughing the passer call. I mean, it's shown that they can play up with these good teams.
Mm-hmm. And I think the Falcons were a team where, hey, you know, they weren't originally there. I mean, you can compare them to the Seahawks with, I don't want to say talent-wise, but I mean expectation-wise. You know, the Falcons coming into the season weren't expected to be almost a front runner in the South Division.
I'm pretty sure they're either first or second behind the Bucs or ahead of the Bucs because that division has not been good at all. You know, the Panthers lackluster. Falcons, they've been okay. The Saints have been playing really well.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, too, is that you wouldn't necessarily be saying this a year ago with this division.
Absolutely not.
It would have been the talk of that East Division where you have the Eagles and the Giants and the Commanders and, you know, just that. You know, it's crazy how in the NFL things can just totally flip. I mean, we're seeing it with the Packers. The Packers aren't doing great.
They are not.
And it's sad. I mean, you know, I was listening to the announcers of that game, and they're like, is this potentially the end of Aaron Rodgers' era and the next to pick up Jordan Love? Could you potentially see Jordan Love? It's a possibility. It's a possibility.
Never know what's going to happen in the NFL.
Yeah, for sure. The Buccaneers host the Seahawks in Germany. I'm looking forward to that one. Tennessee hosts Denver. The Cleveland Browns play the Dolphins. The Steelers host the Saints. The Bears host the Lions. The Bills host the Vikings. That one's going to be a game to look forward to. Giants host the Texans. Chiefs play the Jaguars in Arrowhead. Raiders host the Colts. Packers host the Cowboys. Arizona heads to LA to play the Rams. And then for the evening game on Sunday, the Chargers and the 49ers.
I feel like that game could be super interesting. The 49ers have been playing really well, especially McCaffrey being there, and their defense has been outstanding.
I don't, you know, as much as you make it seem like it's going to be a close game, I think there's going to be some separation there with the Chargers. Granted, there could be a little bias in there since I'm a Seahawks fan. You know, it's one of those things where I'll root against any of those divisional teams. But I think that the Chargers are looking to make that leap. And it's just like, okay, you know, in order for us to win, we have to make these big standing wins. And, you know, Christian McCaffrey is there to help the 49ers. And I think that helped them a lot. You know, they open up the arsenal.
Well, especially with the game he had a couple weeks ago, passing touchdown, receiving touchdown, and receiving.
So, I mean, first 49er to do that.
It's the first player to do that in a while, honestly.
It's crazy. And then
another thing with the Chargers is that they are not healthy. J.C. Jackson out for the year. Mike Williams out. Keenan Allen's been out since week 2 or week 1.
It's questionable. You know, you totally posed a point there, but you know, it's that next man up mentality.
Yeah,
and,
definitely.
You know, you can kind of see that. The Monday night game is the Commanders head to Philadelphia to play the Eagles.
This game could honestly, I feel like this can be a really good game because the Commanders haven't been playing bad recently.
I think this is my take on this. I think the Commanders
upset
end the Philadelphia Eagles' perfect season. I mean, you struggle against the Texans who are at the bottom of
They are the worst team in the league.
Yeah, you struggle against them. You're going to play a better defense in the Commanders. I mean, you have Chase Young, you have Montez Sweat. I mean, you have those guys where their defense is built on their defensive line. And, you know, you poise that pressure within that game. I think Jalen Hurts isn't going to do great. You know, you see him playing against all these teams. But, you know, the one thing that I've been saying these past few weeks is the Eagles have only played 2 or 3 winning teams. You don't see them facing, you know, over 500 teams. You're playing the Jaguars. You're playing the Texans. And the funny thing is that they're only by 1 possession margins.
They're only like, I'm not gonna say legit win was against the Vikings, but the thing is that game was in primetime and Kirk Cousins never plays well in primetime.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Is there luck? Maybe. Is there skill? Yeah.
Well, I mean, AJ Brown coming over that helped Jalen Hurts
it helped
a
him
lot.
a lot. Interesting game picks. My interesting Week 10 matchup is the Bills and the Vikings. As much as I want to say that it could very much be lopsided with the Bills, I think that the Vikings pull off what, you wouldn't necessarily say an upset with a 7-1 team.
Yeah, I was gonna say the Bills are 6-2.
6-2.
And the Vikings 7-1. I mean, the Vikings have been playing their best ball they have in
years.
Forever.
Yeah. I mean, you bring that coach over from LA, the whole script has changed. Yeah, that's my Week 10 matchup that I'm looking forward to watch. What about you?
I feel like there's 3 possible ones. I feel like the Browns could give Miami a run for the money, especially because after what the Bears did, Justin Fields had an amazing game. The Bills and Vikings, obviously. I mean, the Bills coming off a loss against the Jets. And then the Monday night game. I feel like Washington, if they do everything right and Heineke plays like we know how he can, then the Eagles will have 1 loss.
Defensive players to watch. Personally, I'm a Seahawks fan, so I'm looking forward to see Tariq Woolen, Uchenna Nwosu. But outside of that, and Shelby Harris. But outside of that, I'm surprised by this Bills defense. Khair Elam, first-round rookie. Great pick by the Bills. But he's actually not the pick that I'm going to go with. I'm actually going to go with Aiden Hutchinson, the defensive lineman from Detroit. Picked number 2.
Yeah,
number 2 overall.
Second overall.
Yeah. But, you have that pick on Aaron Rodgers. That just shows how much he's grown from college. I mean, you don't see that in a defensive lineman.
No.
Ever. I mean, he read that perfectly. You look back on that play, he recognized that, that player was eligible, the lineman was eligible, and he realizes the release, he comes back and he picks it off. But, great awareness from Hutchinson. So he's my rookie to watch. But what about your defensive players to watch?
I mean, I will be a little biased. Jalen Watson, Joshua Williams, they've been amazing. Especially that whole Chiefs secondary. They're really young. Trent McDuffie just coming off the IR. Jalen Watson, Joshua Williams. All of them have been playing really well. Mm-hmm. Especially Jalen Watson, he had the 99-yard pick 6 in week 2 against the Chargers, which really honestly changed that game. Mm-hmm. And Joshua Williams had a pick against the 49ers after Sky Moore fumbled the punt and getting that pick, which gave the Chiefs more momentum.
And the other thing too is that you compare this defense to the week 1 and 2 defense. You see that changes. You've seen those changes. Yes, you have that 99-yard pick 6, but also at the end of the time, you're a rookie. You're gonna grow. So I'm just amazed by what they're doing because during that Chargers game, they just picked on him the whole way through. Our offensive players to watch. This is my forte. I want to watch Chris Olave tear up the Steelers defense.
It's a very lackluster secondary. I mean, they had that really good game against the Bengals week 1 where they had 4 or 5 turnovers in general. I mean, and then they just got hurt. Yeah. Injury plagued. Mm-hmm.
So I'm looking forward to that. What about your rookie or your offensive player to watch?
I feel like Travis Etienne could have a good game, even though he's going against the Chiefs. The Chiefs' run defense has not been good. Mm-hmm. Yes, in the second half of the Titans game, they allowed 1 first down throughout the whole half. But I definitely feel like Travis Etienne could have an amazing game against the Chiefs.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Especially with his rushing and receiving ability, because he's arguably one of the better receiving backs in the league. Mm-hmm. Especially after trading James Robinson, he's getting more production.
Yeah. Another thing, too, is that he's a great outside runner. You see it. He's elusive. He's everything you want in an elusive back. This week, our school is going through a big week with Cowboy Joe. You have Aiden Taylor, R.J. Vopat, Braden Wilson, and Grant Waite. All contending.
And Tristan Cantone.
Oh, and Tristan Cantone. Yes, forgot about him. Sorry, Tristan. But we're looking. Yeah, we're looking forward to that. Get out there, vote, participate in those activities. You have it Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, because I believe we don't have it Wednesday due to other activities happening around town, church and such. Okay. But get out there and vote. Know those candidates. Make that decision whether or not. Don't be like this guy and only vote off of the skit. But participate in that stuff.
Can't even tell you who I'm going to vote for because I don't know.
hey, I've already made my decision, but we keep that confidential. Again, I'm Z.Schultze.
I'm Hunter Clark.
And this is Inside the Huddle.